Hello, welcome to the live stream. Something funny that I noticed. I know I'm kind of starting off a little bit odd, but something funny that I noticed whenever I do live streams is that it cuts off like the first 5 seconds of my live stream. So if it looks kind of weird, I kind of have to wait 5 seconds. So it actually captures like the very first second that goes onto the live stream, even though it's a 6 second. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Kind of hard to explain, but live streams are weird, okay? It's a little bit odd. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. Today is, yes, it's Sunday, and I wanted to do a live stream yesterday, but I didn't. So we're doing it today, and to make up for that, even though today is actually supposed to be the day that I do the live stream, not yesterday, but I felt like yesterday I had more time. Today I kind of don't. I have to prep for school, but since I forgot, yada yada yada, you guys get the drill. Um, I want to talk to you guys about other things too. Oh, Thanksgiving. Yeah, Thanksgiving was fun, guys. I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. I had it, I think it was 2 days ago, right? 2 days or 3 days ago. Had Thanksgiving. It was a lot of fun. My whole family was there. We got together. We talked a lot. We ate. We had the typical Thanksgiving food. Turkey is very interesting of a protein, not very juicy. I'm gonna be honest, it's not very tasty, but it depends on what you consider tasty and if you make the food good. So it depends, very okay. But anyway, thank you all for being here. You guys okay? I really hope that didn't affect it at all. I actually went to Discord for a second because I had to check a message, but should be good for now. Okay. So yeah, you're probably wondering why you're seeing this live stream. It's quite odd for a guy who's not in relationship to be talking about relationships, but I kind of been doing that for a lot of my live streams, so I don't really care. I thought that today would be a pretty good day to talk about it because I want to know more about them, about relationships, and I think you guys probably do. A lot of people probably like me, where they're not currently in a relationship, they're currently single, and will probably be single for a little bit of time. So might as well learn a little bit. I can learn some more, and I'll teach you guys what I know, even though I know very little. Maybe I should hire a professional. Maybe they should have it as a job. I'm sure, of course, but in a utopian society, wouldn't that be cool to have a job? Someone who can teach you about these kind of things that you don't learn in school, but you kind of have to pick up off of when you go to school. Um, I also noticed something kind of interesting about whenever I look at myself in the mirror versus when I take pictures versus when I do my live streams. I don't know what it is, but I always feel like whenever I take pictures, I guess it's true what they say about the picture adding like the camera adding 10 pounds because I look like actually skinny in these live streams, but then all of a sudden when I take pictures, like bam, I just gained a whole bunch of weight. And also when I look, depending on the mirror too, I feel like it there is no true, I guess, except for the certain mirrors. You can't tell which one is actually the true, like the true you, the true representation of you, because certain mirrors are like the super long ones or super tall ones. Which one do you choose? Which one do you like make sense of? Which one do you agree with? Like which one it actually looks like you? Like oh my gosh, some of them look like completely different. Like some of them they stretch your face, some of them they stretch your face taller, so you look either scrawnier or you look fatter. Um, Interesting. The mirrors are very interesting. Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Oh, one more thing I want to talk to you guys about is in 3 weeks or maybe 4 weeks. I cannot tell because I forgot. I can't do my thing. I can't calculate it yet, and I don't want to calculate it yet. I'm tired. But in 3 or 4 weeks, I will be going to Vietnam. Yay, that is my home country. If you guys already didn't know that, and I'm very, very excited to go to Vietnam. So that's awesome. I'm not so excited about the flight though. 18-hour flight. Like, oh my gosh, why are we doing this? But we're doing it for my grandpa because he doesn't go on trips often, and I hope that he will enjoy Vietnam. I will definitely enjoy Vietnam. It's just the flight, like it's 18 hours of just sitting there doing absolutely zip. You're doing nothing. You're sitting there. You're stationary. You don't. I don't like that. I like being able to move around and look at things that are different. But you just see clouds. You see clouds, and then you experience something different at the very end because then you start seeing Vietnam landscape, or at the very start when you see your own home country's landscape, in my case, the US, but it's not very different. I hate going to the airport. Uh, anyway, don't want to rant too much about that. But yes, I will be going to Vietnam uh, at the end, like right after Christmas. I'm going to Vietnam, so I won't probably be able to do a Christmas live stream. So I'll try and do one the week before. Hopefully, I can plan that well. I'm not a very good planner, but I'm good. Thank you for joining me today. So yeah, let me know if you guys want to see any videos before that because I have a lot of ideas, but just can't get them out right now. Um, so looking forward to posting more videos soon. I have actually been quite good on editing videos. All of my videos that need to be editing are done. So we're doing pretty good. We're on track. Anyway, though, let's get to the topic of the live stream because I'm sure all of you guys are pretty interested in what this is all about. I wonder, out of a show of hands, but you can't show your hand, only I can. Haha. Anyway, how many of you are in relationships is my question. How many of you guys are actually have a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Or if you guys are already married? I don't know. I don't know your ages, but I'm assuming that most people are probably teenagers who watch my live streams. So I would assume you guys would have a boyfriend or girlfriend. You're not already married, unless you guys are actually quite early. Oh, good for you. Good for you. I'm very happy to know that someone here actually has a girlfriend. So that's good. Hopefully you can learn something from this live stream in a way, or maybe you won't. Maybe you don't want to take away what I have to say. But today I'm going to teach you guys 5 things that I personally think are important in live streams. I don't have a girlfriend, no. But that will be in the future. Right now, honestly, I'll tell you right now that there are some things that you really need to think about when you are looking into starting a relationship. So let me talk about the number one thing because it's really the baseline. Here's where you basically start your ground. Um, or start your campaign. Think about like starting a political campaign, right? This is where you start. It's do you choose when you go to school, okay? And we're not talking about dating apps, okay? But when we go to school, whether it's college, middle school, high school, I'm assuming you don't date in kindergarten. That's very weird, but somewhere around middle school, high school, or college level, are you going to choose education or are you going to choose fun and games? That's kind of the thing that you have to think about. And I think that one of the main things that you have to think about is like, are you going to choose AP classes? I'll tell you, for example, myself. As a freshman, okay, I started off by being very focused on school. My parents enrolled me in my classes. They chose my classes for freshman year and they chose most of my classes for sophomore year. I didn't have a lot of choice on that. But so they chose a lot of normal classes like Algebra 1. I could have chosen Algebra 1 honors, but they chose Algebra 1, so I had to go with that, and that was cool with me. So what I did was I just like absolutely burned out. Every day I would work super hard on school, get A's, and I ended up with getting a A on every single one of my finals in freshman year. Same thing happened in sophomore year. I just absolutely worked hard and I was working, studying. Not a lot of time for playing. By playing, that could mean like just going on my Xbox and playing some games too. Doesn't necessarily mean relationships. Um, but if you know a lot of people, and a lot of people at my school who were in relationships, they were taking all regular classes. So when I got to sophomore year, I started taking some honors classes, and now that I'm in my junior year, I am taking currently like 3 APs, I think. Yeah, 3 AP classes. So I'm very focused on my schooling. I'm working really hard almost all the time. And I'm even in extracurriculars like academic decathlon, which takes even more time. It's testing. It's not like a regular extracurricular like chess club. You don't get tested in chess club. In academic decathlon, you get tested a lot on information that is very like particular. Like you would have to know when the Great Depression was, or like when the Great Stock Market crashed, all that kind of stuff. It's not just history, but other things too, like science, math, art, literature. It's a huge testing environment, but it's fun for me. Here is where things change, okay? A lot of people who don't do the things that I do, who don't take honors classes, who don't take AP classes, who don't do extracurriculars, who don't volunteer, guess what happens to them? Well, they have a lot more time for fun and games. Fun and games mean they can go call their friends on the weekends or on breaks. They go hang out with their friends. And you think about me when I'm looking through Instagram because I recently have started an Instagram account. I started one in sophomore year because I kind of had to. I went into student council, and to communicate, you kind of have to have an Instagram account. So I had one, and I started friending all of my friends at school. And I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. I can go look at what they're doing. And every single break or on weekends, I would see them just having the time of their lives with their friends, like dancing, taking pictures together at those like photo booths and all that at the mall. During homecoming, all my friends would be there. They have all these awesome videos of them, and a lot of them were just with their boyfriends or girlfriends, just hanging out together. And it was really just heartwarming whenever you see that. But I also kind of reflected on myself and said, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with my life right now? I could be doing exactly what they're doing, but I'm over here studying, just working. Not because my parents tell me to, but because I chose this. I wanted to work this way. I chose education over fun and games. I have very limited time for like making videos. I have very limited time for relationships, and that includes friendships too. So I don't hang out with my friends on the weekends a lot. I don't hang out with my, if I could have a girlfriend, a lot either. Really, it's not the same lifestyle. I choose a lifestyle. That's the thing. So when you decide that you're like, hey, I want to have a girlfriend, or well, the very first thing you want to decide is what life do you want to lead? Do you really want to be in a relationship if you are also focused on schooling? And how easy is it going to be to balance those things? Because here's a second thing too. Here's number two tip in relationships: spend time with your girlfriend or boyfriend. Okay. And here's the caveat that I'm going to bring in, because number two, and I'm talking about tips, right? Number two can be, there's leeway to it. There's leverage. Here's the thing: either spend a lot of time with your girlfriend or boyfriend, or let them know right away that you can't spend a lot of time, you're busy, and they will have to accept that if they want to continue being in a relationship. Okay. Here's how that basically works. Let's say I had a girlfriend. Okay, let's say hypothetically, if I did, this is what I would do. I would tell her, okay, look, I have a lot of AP classes. Okay, I'm testing like almost every week. I have homework almost every week. I gotta study for the AP exams. I got the SAT coming up. A lot of things. I just cannot spend a lot of time with you. I want to, but I physically can't. You're gonna have to accept that. Now, if you're willing to, that's good. We can continue being in a relationship. If you don't, you might as well break up with me right now. That's where you have to set your standard. That's where you have to say, okay, well, here's the ultimatum. Now you choose. That's really how you go. Yeah, I agree with you completely. It's really hard to have time to do anything when you have AP classes. Really, really difficult. Okay, unless you choose really easy APs. Let me tell you, for example, AP US History, easy for me. Not even an AP. It's like an honors class. Really. So if I just took AP US History, I would have all the time in the world, guys. Okay, because my other two APs, AP Lang, which is AP English basically, and AP Chemistry, those two take a lot of your time, like so much time, just studying, studying, studying. Okay, so it's not easy. AP Lang doesn't take up like time, but it's like it's a lot when you have to write essays. That takes a lot of time. When you have to write essays over the weekend, that takes up time too. So first you have to make the decision. Hey, am I gonna want a girlfriend, or am I gonna want to work on myself on my classes? Then number two, let's say you do have a girlfriend, but let's say you're already in a relationship, but you haven't really considered that yet. Like the consideration being, do I want to live a life full of education, or do I want to live a life full of fun and games? And now you have to explain that to your partner and say, this is what I have. This is what I need you to know. Now you have to make the decision. I've made mine, right? I've made mine to tell you about this. Now you have to make the final decision, and we can make it work however this goes. And the important thing is that even if you do break up, you can still be friends, okay? It's not bad to be friends with your ex, okay? You might get jealous when they start, dating someone else, but that's your choice. You have to live with that. If you choose to be friends with your ex even after breaking up, then you have to suffer the consequences. Consequences aren't always bad, but if they are bad, you have to live with them. So that's number two. Now, number three is kind of interesting. I think number three is that you have to try and tell your girlfriend or boyfriend that you love them. You have to tell them that you love them every almost every time you see them. Okay. Now you might be thinking, hey, this sounds like you're really attached, right? You're really clingy. You're always wondering what they're doing. You're always, you know, you're telling them that because you're insecure. Well, actually, you're not. The reason why that's good is because you're not just telling them that you love them, but you're telling them that you are willing to change for them. It's implicit. And that this is coming from a guy who overthinks, so maybe that is wrong. Maybe I'm not entirely telling you the right thing to do, but I think that that's a good way to let them know that you truly care about them. You're not just saying, "Hey, I love you," like, "Hey, here's my love." No, it's not just that. You're saying, "Hey, I will do things to change for you because I love you. Because I love you so much, I will change for you. If you have a problem, let me know." Right? And that's one of the most remarkable things that one of my idols did. I won't tell you who he is because if I say that, I feel like there could be some discourse in the um, chat or whoever's watching this because it is political and I don't really want to go there. I'm not old enough for me to know really that much about politics. So I didn't want to, tell you much. But one of my idols, what he would do is he would tell his wife, um, "I love you, and is there anything I can do to make things better, to make our relationship better?" And that is so powerful. I feel like that's just such a powerful move as in consolidating your relationship, in consolidating not just your current relationship, but moving forward as you go from boyfriend to girlfriend to husband and wife. That's a huge step because that means that you're not just looking out for yourself, but you're looking out for someone else. You're looking out for that person that you love. You're showing that person that this is why they chose to. That's why they chose you, right? If they chose someone that was bad, that person wouldn't do such a thing. That person would never think about those things. Or he may, but he may not be nearly as effective, or he might just be doing it to try and keep the relationship going, but he doesn't really care deep down inside. So that's number three, really. You want to tell that person, your lover, that you truly care about them, and hope that they will understand it as you can change. You're not stubborn. All right. Number four is kind of related to that, I think, that you have to be willing to change. Exactly. Number three is that you tell them that you love them because it's not just always about change, always, but also because you literally wanted to let your partner know that they made the right decision, that you're not regretting the relationship. Let's say that you guys, a partner, two partners, they get into an argument, right? And then they're not obviously not going to feel very good. But if one of them keeps this certain like motto to constantly tell their partner that they love them every day, by the time the next day goes by, they're still gonna be grumpy about it. But if the partner says, "Hey, I love you still," how do you think that's gonna make the other partner feel, right? Because I think that when you do that, you will make sure that they know that you're willing to accept go through with it, not just like live and dwell on the argument, but to move past that. You're willing to let bygones be bygones. You don't just keep them. You don't dwell on the past. You move forward and you say, okay, the relationship broke a little, it's shattered, but I'm willing to glue it back together. I'm willing to keep on going. I'm not just gonna stay here. So you have to make changes, and that's number four. Make changes. If there are certain things that your girlfriend or boyfriend has a problem about you with, then you want to make a change. Now, here's the caveat, or the yeah, I guess that's the best word. The caveat is that make a change when not only they think it's necessary, but you personally think it's necessary. Okay? If they say, let's say for example, let's say you're like an alcoholic, right? You drink a lot, you go out to parties, you go to the bar often, and your girlfriend says, "Hey, I think you should stop drinking." You should listen to them, right? Because there are scientific proof of over drinking being bad, right? America has tried to stop, ban alcohol for years. There's prohibition, right? We've learned about that before, and it's not safe. It's not safe in certain situations, such as drinking and driving. That's not safe. So you have to learn that there has to be a logical, pragmatic side to you that says, well, I have to think about myself. And obviously, I'm going to think about you as my partner, but I'm also going to think about myself. How do I feel about that? And I know that drinking is bad, so I'll listen to you. And there, you fix the problem, right? Now, here's the other thing. Let's say they have a problem with your hairstyle, right? Let's say, or the clothes you wear. Let's say that the clothes you wear, your girlfriend says, "Hey, I don't like those clothes." Then that is a lot more subjective. Then you have to ask yourself, is that really necessary? Does it matter about what clothes I really wear? Yeah, sure. If I'm going to a job interview and I'm in a tank top and shorts, then yeah, that makes complete sense, right? We've seen that fail before. But let's say I'm wearing like I don't know, a polo shirt and then like some jeans, but your girlfriend doesn't like those particular polo shirt and jeans, then you have to kind of come to a compromise where you have to put your foot down and say, hey, I don't think that was really necessary. I don't need to make a change. I think you should just live with that. I think that you should allow me to have my own sort of freedom because that's what living life is all about. You have to have freedom. You know, everyone wants freedom. I think that everyone wants some sort of freedom. And I'll keep on making these history, American history analogies. But the reason why the 13 colonies broke away from Britain was because they wanted their own freedom. Because Britain was taxing them too much, Britain was being abusive. It was like abusive parent and then the kids rally, right? They fight back. And that's exactly what needs to happen in a relationship. You don't want to have one partner be a dictator and say, hey, I'm going to make all the decisions. You don't have to do any of it. And that might sound good, right? So that's the problem with dictatorship. Sometimes it sounds so good, you don't know it's bad, you know? And you can find, obviously, examples of that, a lot of dictators. Um, and they make it sound good. Like, for example, if you were to say, like, okay, well, I'll go back to the relationship example, right? If you were to say to your partner, I'll make all the decisions, you don't have to, then your friend is gonna be like, oh, well, that's a whole lot off my mind, right? I don't have to make the decisions. Good. But then you don't even have your own freedom now. You can't choose where to go out to eat. You can't choose what to wear or how to have your hair or whether you want to, let's just say, for example, if you want to put deodorant on or not, if you want to grow out your beard or not, is certain looks about you that you have to choose, and you should have your own freedom on that. It shouldn't always just be something that one person chooses, but you have to have your own. So that's number 4, right? Now, before we get to number 5, I want to recap about what we've been talking about so far, right? Because these are all really important. Number one, number one is, excuse me, that you have to be able to. Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you liked it. And yeah, please don't forget to join me in my next live stream. I'm very glad to hear from you. Okay. So number 1 is that you have to choose between education and fun and games. Which one do you want more? Which one do you think is more important to you? And then you have to make a decision. And when you do, good for you. Number 2, if you haven't already made that decision, but you're already in a relationship, make it now. Let your partner know what you choose, and ask them what they want to choose. Do they want to continue the relationship or not? Based on your choice. If you choose fun and games, they're gonna be fine with that, right? Because you have all the time in the world. You're good, right? You're good. Thanks, Nova. Number 3, you have to tell them they love you, that you love them. Sorry, you have to tell them that you love them. Be sure. Don't be shy. Every day, just tell them that, hey, I love you so much, and in doing so, you're telling them that I will change for you. Number 4 being that you will change. Make changes, but be logical about your changes. Don't just say, I'm going to make a change because my girlfriend said I should make a change. No, don't do that, okay? Think logically, what are they asking for? What exactly are they saying you need to make a change on, and why you need to make that? Ask about it. It's okay to question your partner, because you're trying to understand them. If they have a problem with that, then maybe they're not the right person for you. You have to ask them, hey, why do you think that this is bad? And they'll explain it to you, and when they do, then you think to yourself, is it bad? And if you agree with them, make the change. If you don't, either compromise or don't make the change at all. Again, depends on the situation. I'm not going to go through every scenario, but I can make up scenarios. And you can probably make up scenarios on your own too and think that, sometimes I have to make a change, sometimes I don't. Simple as that. Now, number 5 is a tip on relationship. No. It's on. I don't know if you read the title, but it's 5 tips on relationships, Nova. Like boyfriend and girlfriend relationships. What are the 5 tips that you should maybe try and follow? Now, I'm trying to think about number 5 because I had a couple of ideas for this. I wasn't entirely sure which one to choose from. I think that these are all really important. So, I'm trying to think of number 5. I feel like number 5 should really be choose the right person. Really. Yeah, I think that's the best one. Number 5 is choose the right person for you in your relationship. Just think about them first. You don't want to just. That's the thing that I think is kind of bad about dating apps. Like Tinder, for example. I've never used Tinder, obviously, because I'm a high schooler, guys. Okay, but yeah, obviously I hear about Tinder. So the one thing about dating apps is that it's about a stranger meeting a stranger, them going on a date, and hopefully things work out. Thing is about a date is that you don't really know about how things are gonna go until you actually meet them, until you actually start talking to them. So it's a lot harder unless you are already friends with them. I think that the best choice is to date your friends rather than someone that you don't already know. And this can go this way. I'll give you an example. If you have a friend group and you have these girls in your friend group that you really like, and not like them as in boyfriend girlfriend, but as in friends. You start noticing that there's one particular girl who is super nice to other people, super nice to you. They respect your decisions. She buys you presents on your birthday. She tells you happy birthday. She texts you a lot. You see that she's a good person, and let's say she's pretty. Right? She's pretty, and she's a good person, and you guys have the same you have the same sort of, I guess, qualities that are good, such as, and here are some honorable mentions of some things that you should consider in your relationship. Same religion, right? Because you want to be in the same religion. If one person, is a Buddhist and one person is a Christian, things are not going to go very well. Because how can those two things coexist, right? If you're going to be a Christian, then you're going to believe in when I die, I go to heaven. Your girlfriend or future wife can't go to heaven if she's a Buddhist. That's a different kind of heaven, right? So that's something you have to consider. Number 2, you consider your politics. If you're a Republican versus Democrat, you're going to have completely different ideas. And, it's the same topic, but it's 2 completely different views. It's very hard to compromise on that. So think about those things. So if you find a girl who's like that, right? You guys have similar politics, similar religion, similar traits. You guys like the same, and it can be as simple as we love the same color, we love the same bands, we love the same books. Then you have to consider: do I want to date this person? Honestly, just consider it. They might just be a friend, and it kind of feels weird dating a friend. But if you think about it, if they're really that close, if you guys are really like that similar to each other, maybe you should really do it, right? They're good people, right? They're good people who you should really consider as not just a friend, but someone you can date. Because if you have so many similarities, think about all the things you could do, right? Like literally every day, like when you go spend time with them, you guys love the same bands or love the same books. You guys can go out to the same library together, go out to the same diner, right? Or you can go to the same movie theater and watch the same movies, enjoy it together. That's such a good scenario because you have so many things in common that it's so hard to find a reason to break up. And I think if you follow all those other tips, as in you constantly tell them that you love them, they're not going to feel insecure at all. They're going to feel like you truly care about them and they made the right decision, and this relationship can go on for a long, long time. I think that's the best way. Those are the 5 things you should really consider when you get into a relationship. And some of them don't exactly require being in a relationship already, right? You kind of actually want to think about these things before you get one. You want to think about whether you want to choose education or fun and games. That's exactly one of them, right? You want to choose that first, and then if you choose fun and games, then maybe having a girlfriend is right for you. Personally, I think I would love to have a girlfriend. I would really like to have one, but at my current situation, it would be very difficult. And I'm gonna if I do want one, I'm really gonna have to try and find that balance. So same with you guys. Depending on what situation you're in, trying to find the balance. If you guys don't really have to, you guys take regular classes. Then don't worry about it. Or on the other hand, and what the other side of the spectrum is, if you're super studious and you don't really feel a need for a girlfriend, you don't need to worry about this either. But if you're in the middle, sort of like me, where you're kind of trying to balance both things, or this kind of applies to you in a way, then maybe listen to these things, because I think that these are really helpful tips. I hope you guys will find them helpful. Hopefully they will help you out with your future relationships or your current relationships. And yeah, really hope they do. So thank you guys for joining me today. So yeah, it's very hard to didn't really consider that a scenario yet, but if you are a nerd, it's gonna be very difficult. I know that for a fact because I am a nerd about a lot of things. So yeah. But if your girlfriend is willing to accept you as a nerd, that's totally cool. Not all nerds, not most nerds actually, in fact, they do end up having girlfriends or in fact getting married at some point in their lives. Steve Jobs got married, you know. Another example, who else? Bill Gates, right? They're all kind of nerds, but they have to work with computers. But they have, wives. They had wives. Steve Jobs is deceased now. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys found that interesting. I hope that it helps you out in the future. And yeah. Also, I want to let you guys know that since I'm going to Vietnam, I'm going to be trying to post some videos soon. Do believe that I'm definitely going to try and work on keeping the schedule of every 4 days. I will post a video. I'm also thinking about coming back to Murder Mystery 2 shorts because those was really fun back when I posted them. So definitely think about doing that. But until then, see you soon, guys. I will do a Christmas live stream where I unbox some of my presents. So that'll be pretty awesome too. Probably be down there somewhere because near my rub, because that's where I usually film my unboxing sort of videos, which I don't really do now, but I used to do. But yeah. Anyway, though, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Think about them. Think about those kind of think about relationships and how you would fix those things. Yeah, I do have a basketball hoop. I don't have the basketball though, so yeah, definitely gonna look for that. See you guys in the next one, guys. Goodbye, and yeah, happy holidays.